What's up, guys? I have this gorgeous knife here. It's a loan for testing. Um, I'll probably never ever get to see a knife like this or handle a knife like this ever again. I don't know, maybe one day in the future I may get an R.J. Martin custom, but I'm pretty sure as of right now he's not taking orders. So I would either have to look on the secondary market or, whatever. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. This knife was loaned to me for testing and sharpening. He's not paying me for the sharpening. I'm just doing it in return for him letting me handle the knife and see it and enjoy it for a little while. Not going to say who it is because I'm not sure he wants me to. I can't remember. If he does, then I can annotate him in. But I'm just going to go over the knife and give my opinions and stuff on it. And it's not going to be a review since the only use I've given it is cutting rope. And if it's not doing that, then it's living in its padded pouch. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and kind of do a quasi review, give my thoughts, and just show you guys a really cool knife. It is a titanium frame lock, as you can see, kind of standard there, with a flipper, and it rides on bearings. And I'm not sure, you can't feel this in the video or through video, but it's so incredibly smooth. It's honestly, it's not as smooth as my tilt, and that may just be the bearings and such, but it is honestly very, very, very close. It's so smooth, and once it overcomes that detent, it just flies out. It's awesome. I guess I'll go over the fit and finish, and as you can expect for a custom knife, it's impeccable. I mean, the fit and finish is just gorgeous. There is nothing that's out of place, nothing that isn't finished in an appealing way or fit in an appealing way. Every piece that you can see, every little portion of the knife that you can see, even in here, is finished, hand finished, I would say, to something that's attractive, a brushed finish or polish, whatever. The fit is incredible. As you can see, this carbon fiber inlay, you see no gaps and you feel nothing. It's just a smooth transition from carbon fiber to titanium. You honestly cannot feel anything. It feels like one solid piece, which is probably very hard to do. It is titanium on both slabs as far as I can tell, and it has this G10 backspacer, which is kind of sunk in. Has a nice little jimping back here. Everything is just really attractive. Everything about this knife is really attractive. The pocket clip is nice. It could be smaller in my opinion, but I like the way it's kind of canted and it flows well with the design of the knife. It does have really good retention, but it's not hard to draw in and out of your pocket because it is smooth under here. Lockup is great, as you can see. The lockup is awesome on this knife because it goes to the same place every time, and I'm not going to dig in with pressure, but on most titanium frame locks, if you just push a little bit here, it'll move, but this thing doesn't move at all. I mean, it's where it lands is probably where it's going to be for the next 30-40 years. Honestly, it doesn't seem to have any of the characteristics of a titanium frame lock that makes them wear prematurely. This one just seems to be fit extremely well, and that's again part of the custom knife world. Just kind of showing you what it looks like. The lock bar, there's a nice little cutout here so that you can get your finger in there. That's nice. I like seeing that on knives. I do really like when that's included. It's hard with knives that don't have a cutout to get your finger to get some purchase, but this one's very easy. As you can see, everything is just beautifully put together. The blade is a recurve, as you can see. It says R.J. Martin here, and on this side it says S110V, and that's a steel that is not used very often in the custom or production world. Not a lot of people use it, period. So it was a treat that I got to cut with this knife, and I enjoyed it a lot. I like how the flipper kind of gives you a little bit of a hilt here. If the lock did happen to fail, which I doubt it would, you have kind of a safeguard because it would just fold in on your fingers and stop the blade. The blade finish is very unique. It's almost mirror polished, but it has a satin look in the mirror. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very unique, and I've never seen anything like it on any knife. And it's very, very slick. It has a low frictional value. There's absolutely no friction at all. I mean, it's very slick, almost like it's Teflon coated or something, which it isn't. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what it feels like. The recurve is perfect. It's not very aggressive. It's a nice subtle recurve, but it's enough to give it the nice cutting characteristics that recurve knives have. They tend to put a lot of pressure on the edge right here, and when you're draw slicing, it just really chews up whatever you're cutting right here. That's a really useful portion of the blade. The action is what you would imagine for a custom knife. I mean, it's perfect, from putting pressure on the flipper and overcoming the detent to how smooth it is to close, and then the nice positive click you get when you close the blade. I love that sound. It's just a nice reassuring click. It's got a very strong detent, and no matter how much pressure you put on the blade, as long as you overcome the detent, the blade will come out. I mean, it's impossible to put not enough pressure to get the blade to come out, if that makes sense. If you get the blade to come past the detent, then it's going to deploy, and that's really cool. I mean, it's so easy to deploy. Even your pinky can deploy it, and there's many different ways you can deploy this knife because the flipper is perfect, and the pivot is perfect. It's a bearing pivot, a roller bearing system. It's not IKBS and it's not KVT. I think it's like thrust bearings, something like that. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody will drop a comment below and correct me, but it's a bearing system like the KVT, because I think I can see the bearings enclosed in washers. It's very smooth. It's honestly a very nice feel. It has a great feel. In the tilt, you can kind of feel the bearings rolling when you're closing the blade, but in this you can't feel any movement at all. So that's a testament to how well the parts fit together and the quality of the craftsmanship. It's honestly just a gorgeous blade all around. I'm sure I forgot to talk about something, but honestly haven't used this knife a lot. I've just looked at it and cut some rope with it, and I figured you guys would like to see it, especially since I probably won't get another one of these ever. The blade is really nicely ground. It's very thin at the cutting edge, and it makes for a knife that cuts really well. It cut through the rope extremely well, and it's thanks to that extremely thin grind. As you can see, it's very thin. Even though the blade has a lot of width to it, a lot of thickness, it has a pretty aggressive, I'm thinking, yes, that's a hollow grind. That's not flat. It has a very aggressive hollow grind. So, an all-around awesome knife. Titanium frame lock, carbon fiber inlays, S110V. Probably the coolest knife I've ever had my hands on. If I wasn't including the ZT777, which is another amazing knife, but this is just, there's just something about it. Handmade, quality, amazing materials. It's just a gorgeous knife, and thank you for letting me test it and use it and play with it. It made my day, honestly. It's an awesome knife. Again, it's an RJ Martin custom. Not sure what the name is, but I'm sure I can find out and put it in the title. So anyway, not really a review, just an overview talking about the knife, showing it, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.